some people.
Well, we do. We have.
More than two.
Well, for those who are on and who are waiting, thank you very much. We will, I guess, wait a few more moments, and we will then uh, commence. We will commence. So, I'm wondering if we have this thing turned the right way.
Yeah, so see, it's that way.
Yeah. So let's see. Hold on, family. We typically don't do live.
Yeah, just have to go back and like,
So let's see here. Okay, let's see. Guess I gotta move close to my wife. Let's see. Oh, all right. We have 20 individuals. Thank you.
20? Oh, wow.
Greetings, greetings, peace and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourists from 85 to Africa. We are living in the after, and we thought it is befitting to be able to have a moment with you all and share, as always, of our experience that we are having here on this wonderful continent and this wonderful country, Rwanda. And as you know, and as always, we have some very interesting, unique experiences. However, we recently had an experience that is not unique in the classical sense, but it's unique in the sense of it occurred where it occurred. And we learned much, a whole lot, uh, directly from the manner in which this experience was handled. I'll choose that word. And I guess a redefining, if you will, of our experience living here on the continent, specifically right here in Rwanda. So we want to share that with you all. We'll try to keep the energy up.
It sound low right now, right?
That's not like me. I'm like, the goofy one.
So you're the goofy one. I'm the goofy one.
At any rate, here we go.
So on May 28th, my mother passed away here in Africa. And, it was a surprise, pretty much. She was sick for about 2 weeks. But the 2 weeks prior to that, you guys know we were in her best life. She was happy, she was swimming, she had the sun. She ate the foods that she wanted to eat every day. So she had a wonderful, wonderful trip, wonderful experience. The last 2 days or 3 days of the trip, she had gotten sick. And so by the time we got back to Rwanda and had our nurse come out, we did some blood work done, took her in to get some scans done. We found out that her cancer had returned. And this time it wasn't just liver cancer, it had actually spread in her lungs. So she didn't suffer. She wasn't in a lot of pain. But the first 4 days after hearing what it was, we were outside walking. We were talking about how we're going to beat this because we got more countries that we need to visit. We had gotten some medicine that was when we found out the medicine that we can get, which was something to help pretty much take away the symptoms of the cancer, but it wouldn't kill the cancer. We knew, or I would say I knew at that time what that meant. And we didn't know she only had 2 weeks. but we knew that her days were very, very, very numbered. So she had the best care. Um, our nurse Wilson, who we talked about a couple times in our videos, he has a home care nursing agency, and we had round the clock nursing care for mom. Of course, the home team was here watching the nurses, making sure everything was done properly.
Everyone was being watched.
Everyone was being watched. And it's funny because we used to joke around. I used to tell my mom, all right, when it comes to the time where someone needs to wipe your booty, she said, you better go, you better be the one to do it. And I said, no, go make sure you have the people that's going to take care of that for you. And watching my mom fight, she didn't want no one to do that for her. And only time she had pain is when she got up and was trying to walk to the bathroom. So my beautiful husband helped her to the bathroom. Our juvie would help her. Everybody helped her. She was very, very, very weak. And the experience, this we want to talk about. I know we posted that my mom had passed away. And we had posted previously to that the hardships that we were having in Rwanda. And so I thought, well, we both thought that it was very important to tell you guys also the magnificence, the amazing outpouring of care and love that we've gotten from Rwanda since this happened. I do want to talk about my mom's last day real quick. She was, she was here for the whole time in her bedroom. People were coming that were her real friends, her true friends. They were here pretty much every day. And particularly Mama One Africa. I've watched, I'm trying not to get emotional, but I've watched real sisterhood. She would hop up in the bed with my mom and talk to her, try to make her laugh. Watch her come over, and her and Francois, was the cook, turn into the caretaker, which really was my mom's closest friend here, period, in life. She would get on her hands and knees. She'd be helping her wash her feet, put her shoes on, lotion her up, do her hair, braid her hair. So we have pictures of her outside taking braids out my mom's hair. Mama One Africa is just sitting there talking to her. Sister Rita's on the phone with them. And they're just, the two of them is talking to my mom. My mom's not really, at this point, wasn't really too vocal, but she heard them. And it was an amazing experience, an amazing testament of sisterhood for my mom. She never had that. She had friends, but when it came down to it, she didn't really have a sisterhood that I know of, and that she had that as an experience. But the day of her passing, we were all here, and there was something about the sun that came out when I was outside earlier that day that I knew this was going to be the day that she would leave. And Mama One was here. We had Dr. Kanisha was here, and she was aligning her chakras for her. People were coming over, praying over her. Giselle's family came over and they prayed over my mom. And then as she was taking her final breaths, my brother was on the phone, my nephews, my phone, telling her, we love you. We love you. It's okay. We love you. And she took her last breath in a circle of love. And even though it was the saddest day of my life, it was also one of the happiest moments I've ever experienced for my mom. Because she fought so hard, like she would wake up saying, no, I can't. And one time, she must have felt the energy or seen her mom, and she told her mom, no, I can't. And I realized that she only will jump up and say, I can't, when she heard my voice. She was trying to fight for her children. She was like, I gotta stay up, and I would whisper in her ear, God is the greatest, Mom. It's okay. I'm okay, you can go. You can go, Mommy. And the opposite effect would happen. She'd hear my voice, and her eyes would open up, and she would fight it again. So the last couple days, I tried to stay quiet in her presence, because the more she fight, the more pain she was in. So finally, Allah took her last breath, and it was beautiful. I wasn't upset. There was no regrets. And I was just so, it was such a blessing for me to see that my mom left in a circle of love. And everyone that loved my mom, that moment was there. It was amazing.
It really was. It was very peaceful. It was very peaceful. Um, the reason why we have titled this live "She Died in Africa" is because, you know, her desire was to always live in Africa, but her desire also was to die in Africa.
She did. She said that. Both of the moms, actually, before we left, we sat down and we talked to them. And we're like, listen, we're going to the continent. Are you prepared to understand that you might not ever come back to the States? You might take your last breath on the continent. Are you okay with being, they both were like, yeah, that's what we want. So she got her wish. And
She did.
She did. She got her wish.
She did. She really did.
And so the amazing part is that happened, and immediately, now, people that we haven't seen since the time we came, and you guys asked about her, Auntie shows up,
She was there.
and
She was there.
and her crew, Miss Nellie, with Nellie's Farm, she came, and she was handling business, y'all.
She handles business for sure.
So what we were told, this is what's mind blowing, is how they do things here in Rwanda. I don't know if it's how they do it. Well, I'm told, yep, that they do it in Ghana this way.
It's an African.
It's an African way.
The concept of community is a true. They live true to it. They live true to it, and we were able to witness and experience that. You know, we weren't expecting it. Really weren't expecting it.
It was overwhelming because, well, let me tell you what happened. So they all came over. This is the next day. They came over, and they hug you to death, and they're in tears, and they pretty much take over.
They do.
They take over, and what we're told now, we didn't necessarily had all this happen because it's too much for me, but what we're told is they come over, and they do like a fire pit in the yard. And the smoke alerts the whole entire neighborhood that there's been a death. And everyone in the neighborhood comes over to show their support, and they sit with you. You don't know these people, you don't know their names. They sit with you, and we're told that they even sometimes pitch a tent. They stay in tents, they bring their sleeping bags, and they sleep there outside in your house for days. They cook for you, they clean, they buy all the food. They make sure you don't have a moment alone to think about or be sad because you have the support of the neighborhood. And so they were telling us this was going to happen. I was like, wait, I can't handle it.
It happened, not the duration, but it did happen.
Right.
But when we I guess stepped out of ourselves for a moment and allowed ourselves to accept this love, to accept this level of support that was genuine. It was genuine.
Right.
And it is something of it really we knew, that there are people who are very proud of their culture. But this experience showed us that how serious they take their culture.
Yeah.
And it's not pretentious. It is just automatic. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't if you knew the individual, if you ever even seen the individual. But because they value their culture the way that they do, anything that is of their culture that they are accustomed to, they fall right on in.
Yeah. And you don't really have a say in it.
You don't.
You either figure it out or you're going to wind up figuring it out by yourself. So I was like, okay, so my mom's wishes, and I do know as Muslims, this isn't our way particularly, But my mom has always said to me that she wanted to be cremated and her ashes spread in the ocean. So cremation here in Rwanda is pretty much a new concept. It's not even a thing. The Africans or Rwandans, they don't cremate. So introducing them to my mom's wishes were like, oh no, what?
Yeah,
That
it was horrifying
it was.
for them. It was
So
like they couldn't grasp
it was
that
like,
whole
wait,
thing.
what are you gonna do? And it's still probably hard for them. So they do have Hindu temples here, which I didn't know that, but they're the only ones that are authorized to perform the cremation. So not only do we have the circle of friends here now, the community, they come and they're like, okay, so you're expats. This is what Nelly said, and this is a foreign country for you, even though you've been here for 2 years. But we want to make sure you understand that you're family. You're not friends, you're family, and we take care of our family. And think about how at home when someone passes, of course, we're doing GoFundMe's, we're trying to scrape up this, we're looking for that policy, we're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for the burial of our loved ones. Here, it's not a question. They sat us down that day, and now, mind you, my mom just passed. I'm still trying to comprehend what I just been through. The neighbors, all the people that came over, they sat in our living room in a circle and they were writing down the expenses. How much does it cost for transportation? How much does it cost per day at the mortuary? How much does it cost for the cremation? How much does it cost from them picking her up, taking her to the mortuary? And how much from the mortuary to the crematory? Because that's like maybe about an hour away. They added all of this stuff up. And I'm just sitting there, probably lifeless, because I don't understand. Um, and we were sitting next to each other, and they literally took the total and started sending it in through the Momo. They paid for everything.
And this is in with that, the beauty of that, you in all of this actually you saw, you know, two cultures, because there were expats that were there. Shout out to Brandon, shout out to Victor, for their love. You know, listen, and I have to say this, you know, within the 2 years' time, hadn't seen.
Yeah,
But when they heard,
they were the ones that
they were the
came.
ones that were there. They came, and there was no hesitation. There was no, you know, pulling the hair or the teeth or anything like that. It was just out of the goodness of their heart, you know. So you saw that those two cultures and two worlds, if you will, come together on our behalf, you
Yeah.
know, and it was really beautiful to see and experience that.
What they said was, you're not, you didn't just lose your mom. We lost someone in our family, and you shouldn't have to worry how we're going to take care. They brought food. I'm just blown
They had
away.
sacks
Of rice and potatoes, so much,
They had like a
man.
whole shelf of juice.
Fruit.
They was,
Look, our cabinet's never been that full
Look,
since we've been
I
here.
mean, look at Junior the other day. He opened up the cabinet where the gas thing is. It was a big old. Somebody put it there.
What
I didn't
is
even
it?
know it. It was a whole big bag, about 5 things of juice.
Oh my God.
It was
And the
crazy.
children, I'm sure, was very happy because
It
we
was,
don't buy the juice like
yeah, they
that.
got stuff stashed in different spots. We didn't even, that's how much.
So much, man. And so within the next day, and so the process here is, because we're foreigners, it's not just go to the mortuary and get a death certificate. And we didn't know this stuff. They knew it. So they came and they went with my husband. And again,
So here, let me backtrack this. So naturally, after my dear mother-in-law passed away, she passed away here at home, as was, you know, my wife's wishes, and it would have been my mother-in-law's wish as well, because she was able to get that absolute care without question. However, of course, you know, body was picked up here. We went, took to the hospital, to the mortuary, and got everything situated in that regard, and then we attempted to begin the process of obtaining the death certificate. So it was later in the evening and night, so we had to wait for the next day. So when the next day comes, our wonderful healthcare provider, Wilson, had come and said, well, so because she did not pass away at the hospital and she passed away at home, to obtain the death certificate is a different process. So we weren't able to obtain the death certificate at the hospital. So this is the process. Each village has a village leader, right? This is beautiful to me.
And village means neighborhood, not just
Neighborhood.
like the regular
Yeah.
villages you see. This is the neighborhood.
Neighborhood. So every village has a village leader. In addition to that, every 10 house, there's one person assigned to every 10 houses, right? So for us, we were assigned an individual that would take care of whatever needs, not even just this situation, whatever needs there are. If this person is responsible for these particular 10 houses, that's the individual that's responsible. So the process is, because dying at home, you alert the village leader. Having alerted the village leader, then you also notify that individual who is responsible for that particular house within the 10 houses he or she is responsible for. 3 testimonial statements have to be written by individuals who knew.
Make sure you didn't suffocate her with a pillow.
You gotta make sure ain't no foul play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I respect that. Present that to the individual. He or she will write, they have received it, they got it, everything's all good, everyone signs off on it. Then now you take that to the cell chief. So there's a village, there's a cell. He receives all of the information from the 3 testimonies, the one that's also from the village leader. And then after that has been all said and done, it's been cleared. Now you present it to the sector. The sector now takes all of the information and begins to input all of the information necessary to be able to actually get the death certificate. They were with us every step of the way. Every step of the way.
It was an all-day process.
It was an all-day affair, all-day process. You had individuals such as our good friend Albert, again, he was the one who contributed his vehicle and drivers to pick us all up from the airport. He also contributed his vehicle to be able to take care of anything we need to take care of as it relates to dealing with the process of the death certificate and everything else. So that was his donation. That was his contribution, I should say. Not donation, his contribution. Because that's very important. It's very important in their culture that if you are aware of someone who's passed away, you have to.
You're duty bound.
You're duty bound to contribute something, somehow, some way, to help ease the burden of that family. And the way it was told to me was that he was like, his mind was like, what can I do? He was like adamant, like, I gotta make sure I do something. He said, you know what? I'm at work, I can't get it. Listen, here's the vehicle. Take it, no payment of nothing. Just take it, do whatever. Take it however long you need it. It's yours to do whatever you need to do. So it was a beautiful thing. So the community is involved. The community is involved. From the neighbors to those who are responsible for the neighborhood. And in this particular sector, this particular cell and particular village, this was the very first experience they've had. They've never done this before.
Of someone passing
at home and them having to actually go through this particular process. So that in and of itself is a bonding moment, because they're learning as we are learning, and everyone's hands are involved and everyone is on deck. So it was really, it was a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, and even with that was just for the local level. Now you're an expat, you're a foreigner, you have to take it to the American Embassy.
Right.
And now they take all of that information and they sign off on it, but they also submit it into the American system. And Social Security is alerted, her bank accounts are like immediately everything is alerted from the American Embassy. Like you have nothing left to do. But because we were having her cremated, we had to now take the papers from the American Embassy, take the papers from the local level to the RIB, which is like for us is like the FBI or CIA
No,
or
it's
something.
it's it's the Rwanda Investigation Bureau.
So federal investigation. It's like the
But anyway,
FBI.
you get it.
So they have to sign off, and they got to make sure that she didn't get murdered here on soil, and that we have all the permissions required for this cremation.
Right.
Because it's a new concept. If she wasn't getting cremated, they wouldn't have to sign off on it. So because she was getting cremated, they had to make sure that everybody was alerted that this is what's going to happen. So we had to get that signed off on. And then now we can take the whole packet to the mortuary, which is at the hospital, and have her released to go through to the mortuary process. Cremation process. So even with that, our locals here said, nope, she can't just go and get cremated. We have to still do it with honor. We have to do it our way. And so the Francois, who was here, and Auntie and Nellie and who was the other person? The ladies.
The ladies. Oh my gosh. Giselle.
No, Giselle wasn't.
You mean for the
cremation part?
Oh, so all right. So my mother.
Your mom.
Of course, my mother. So my mother and I, we go to the hospital to meet them, to retrieve the body. They go ahead to the mortuary. So we go and we're waiting for the others, and we're waiting for naturally waiting for Wilson, and as everyone that my wife had mentioned. So when we get there, there's a lady sitting in the reception area, and she spoke. She was very kind. He didn't know who she was, and she just sat there, and we sat and we waited. So as time went on, I went on ahead and I just took matters into my own hand to get the things processed and going. Long story short, when we get down to the morgue or am I saying that right? Mortuary. I see the lady, and she's talking to my mother, and I was like, she was there for us. She didn't know who we were, but she was told
to be there.
And she was dressed. She was nice, and she was there, man. We never seen this lady ever before. We don't even know who the lady was. Mm-hmm. And
she was like a little angel sitting in the corner, like, I'm here to help guys. Mind you, I'm not there. I can't be a part of any of this part because I want my last memories to be what my last memories were. So my husband took charge of everything. I didn't have to think about anything except for my mom. So I didn't go to this process, but the night before when we were discussing what has to be done, they were in the living room and they were like, no, we have to do it our way. We have to get dressed and wear our ceremonial garments. We have to put something beautiful on her and make sure that we bathe her thoroughly and make sure her hair is done, because mom was a classy lady. She was always dressed nice and classy. And, and I'm like, my thought is, okay, she's about to be cremated, but okay, whatever.
They wouldn't have it no other way.
They wouldn't have it no other way, but they needed this for themselves. This is how they wanted to give back to her memory, give back to her energy. So they needed to do this for a healing process for themselves. And so I was like, okay, I mean, it's not going to hurt nothing. So the next morning, he's waiting for them. True Rhonda nature, they're all late. They're all
Rhonda's late.
Jeez, you're going to be late for your own funeral. They all late. So they already have her in the car.
We had to, right, because we had to be at the crematory at a certain time because, and we'll talk about this, there's a process to the cremation. It's not just, okay, you burn and that's it. It's a process. It takes time. So we had to be there by a certain time. So we had to move forward, and we were hoping that they would have gotten there. Anyway, we had her in. We had taken her out of the mortuary, had her actually in the funeral service vehicle to begin to make motion to our destination. But then they arrived, right? So their arrival, in particular, Francois, right? So the night before, in discussing how they wanted to make sure that she was, they said we got to have a white sheet as to wrap her. And Juvenile said, yes, we have a white sheet. I'll make sure that it's taken care of. I'll take it. And I had it, and I brought it. But Francois was still, she had to buy this white sheet, which we didn't know. We thought everyone was understanding that it's already taken care of. We have it. But she was persistent in her mind.
It had to come from her.
It had to come from her.
Right.
Now, at the time, she was saying, I have it here. I have the white. And I'm thinking to myself, it's okay. It's all right. Thank you, but it's okay. Fast forward after, and we'll come back to this part, but after the cremation process, a part of their culture is you never just leave a burial or a funeral service and go straight home. You all go, you stop, and you gather together, and you have a Fanta or something small to eat, and you just have a moment to just talk and to discuss, you know, whatever.
But you had to wash your hands.
But you wash your hands because they use the word, you know, get rid of the bad luck, but I think they're meaning like more of any negative energies. You remove that in that symbolic gesture of washing of the hands. So the reason why I bring this up is because as we were sitting there talking, I was made to understand why it was so important for Francois to get this sheet. She had to get it. Unfortunately, she's the result of losing her parents in the genocide.
Mom, dad, grandparents,
everybody. She expressed to us, she said, I never had the opportunity to give my parents, my family, a proper burial. And she said, I looked at her mom and my mom as her parents. She had to literally search for the bones of her parents and could never give her a proper burial. So it's kind of emotional when I think about it and I talk about it. And I understood why it was so important for her to get this, and so she can make sure that whom she revered as one of her parents has a proper burial.
Yeah,
and it was just so touching and moving.
It's amazing, and it's hard for them knowing that she was cremated, and so she wasn't going to have a funeral. So they did the best they could. Francois was kind of in a daze because she adored my mom. She adored her. She was willing to give up everything. Wherever we were going to go, she was going to come so she could take care of my mom.
Yeah.
And so the piece of it was an honor for her.
Right.
And so that sheet meant her honor to my mom.
Right.
And when they came, we could tell it was heavy on them all. Even my husband, he kind of, they all was in a gray area, not a dark spot, but it was heavy for them. Again, I wasn't there. So I'm home, and all I could think about is, man, this would never had happened if we were home. We would have never had this kind of support, this kind of circle of love. They took care of everything. I don't even think there was anything that I had to think about when it came to getting this whole process done. So the next day, the lady comes, she delivers what one of our flower calls it the ash box. It's a small little coffin, but she calls it the ash box. And so when Francois came in, Francois kept asking me, what time we going to Bugasera? What time we're going to Bugasera? And it hit me, oh, she's asking about the ashes. So I took her over there, because it was in the living room, we were in the kitchen, and showed her the box. And it took like all the air out of her. She just sat there and just stared like, whoa, what the heck is that? My friend is in this box.
Because, typically we're used to an urn of sorts, but this particular service, which was a beautiful funeral service, they created I guess you would call it looks like a miniature coffin.
Yeah.
You know, and she even dressed it on these are ashes. It's even dressed as a coffin will be
Yeah.
on the inside,
It is.
cushiony
It's like a
and
miniature
laced
coffin.
and stuff. And
It's very respectful.
it's very
It's
respectful.
beautiful. I don't know what to do with it because if I'm supposed to release the ashes in the ocean, what are you gonna do with this little box? I don't know. We have to think about that one. But but every morning, and that we got that back last Monday, I hear her. She's singing, Francois, and she has her Bible open. And every morning she would come, and she told me this is what she was doing. And she sings to my mom every morning, like she always do. They always sing in here, always singing. And my mom loved it. So she was singing, and she would read something from her Bible to my mom every morning. So if you guys were able, I don't know if he's able to upload the video we did on Facebook for the memorial.
You just go to your it's on your
No, it's a private page.
oh.
We did a memorial. I said, listen, I have to do the memorial for my mom. We did everything else the cultural way here, but the memorial has to have me, my spirit in it, a bit of me, and in our culture actually. So we did it here at the house, and we had the live violinist playing. They played Mama for me from Boyz II Men, of course, and I wanted it played on the violin because if we actually heard it, everybody would have been crying. So I knew if we did on the violin, it'll make it a little bit more lighter. And then we've had Sister Satara comes and sing. I wanted Better Days from Diana
Reeves.
Diana Reeves. You know, sing it for me.
I ain't singing.
Come on, just sing it a little bit. You know, the silver gray.
Hey, I can't sing.
That song, my voice gets real grandmamish when I try to sing it. But there's another song called Better Days, and this is what I sent to the singer. It's the other song. So apparently it's a gospel song, but it's talking about someone leaving. It's the same concept.
Beautiful.
Man, when she sung that song, and I've been strong the whole time. I did the ugly face cry. I'm just like, oh shoot. She hit this one note, it broke me all the way. Like, oh my God.
I've never heard it before.
Me neither.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, I keep listening to it now.
Well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And well, I know my mom would have loved that.
Yeah.
She would have loved that. And then at the end, Mama One Africa, she's kind of emceeing it all along. I wrote a poem myself and had someone read it because I'm kind of shy. And poetry readings, and people got up and did testimonies. My brother came and he spoke.
He did a strong, nice honor and testimony. You know, it's beautiful.
Yep. And Pastor Muhammad here did the opening prayer.
I just.
And at the end of it, the home team came and sung. Francois, Juvie, and our Francine, like they used to for my mom. But they did two songs. The first song was them singing, and all the people from the community that's here, they all singing a song with them, they chiming in. But then afterwards, this other song come on, and you can tell it's a celebratory song, and they're up and dancing, y'all. They're doing the traditional dance, and they're feeling it, they're singing, and they turn around and they face the ash box, and they're singing this to the box, to my mom. And it wasn't until afterwards when I'm watching this that I see what they're doing and how it connects. But just having that moment was so amazing. And I was like, wow, boy, she'd been so happy. She'd have been so happy to see this. And they're so happy to do it for her. But at the end, some of the, but at the end of the ceremony, a couple people that are running that were here, they were like, I loved how you put both of the cultures into this, because typically the remote memorial for here is more of a crying session, is more mourning. It's more of, I think they call it like a wailing time where they're crying and so the people that were coming, the Kawa team that came.
It was like, they ain't know what, it was like, they don't know what to expect. So they was kind of, I could see them coming. They had this look on their face like, you know, and then some of you said like, listen, they were kind of late. They was like, I had to gear myself, I had to get myself prepared. And they walk in and they're feeling this energy of love and this energy of celebration. And, you know, even they even said that they left after it all said and done stronger. You know, they felt strength and they were grateful for the manner in which, and it's new. We're not thinking this,
Yeah.
you know, we're not understanding, but it's new for them, and
They've never seen
they've
this.
never seen that.
They've never
before,
seen
ever.
how we do a homegoing.
Right.
Then when they came during the week, they would come very quiet, and they'd be looking at me kind of like, okay, what's wrong with the Jada?
Like, why ain't she broke down? Why is she not? You know.
And I'm just so elated to see them. I'm running off the porch, hugging them. Come here! Oh, you're here! They like, what is wrong with the? But listen, this is something. This is, and I'm 48. I'm still at the age where I'll say my age, and I've learned something that's so important that I think we all have to understand and know. When you really, really, really do right by your parents, and you're there, and my mom, y'all know my mom was spoiled. Anything she wanted, that's how we got here. We're okay. That's your dream. Let's make it happen. Anything she wanted to do, she got it. Like my mom was so spoiled, and I enjoyed. It was like something in me. It was like the pride for me to spoil my mom. That when she took her last breath, I wasn't angry. I didn't feel slighted. Like, why you take my mom so soon? I didn't get a chance to tell her I love her. I'm whispering I love you to my mom all day, every day, even before she got sick. I mean, we act a fool, but every night, you know, Mom, I love you. She might not even say it back. And that just tickled me. I thought that was funny. Like, oh, you ain't gonna say it back? Get out of here. I'm trying to watch TV. And I'll just keep standing there. Imani does the same thing to her. Gigi, give me a kiss. And she, oh my God. We just torture her with it. But when you have no guilt and you have no remorse and you made sure that you were there for your parents, when they do pass, the only thing I was concerned with is, did I do a good job, Allah? Was I a good daughter? Are you pleased? Because in my spirit, I knew it. I knew I did my very best for my mom.
It's true. I can attest to it. I can attest from day one. You know, when she and I were courting, we started our courtship. One of the first questions, of the most primary questions, was, now look, my mother lives with me.
It's a package deal.
So, if you know we moving forward with this thing here, you gotta let me know right now. If you want this full package, we can roll. We can rock and roll. If not, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer for me. That's how I am with my mother.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, come on, man, it's no thing. But you know,
But he looked happy though when I said it.
yeah, I was like,
Because he's like, oh, that's cool, because I want the same thing.
exactly. I was like, that's great. Bear witness that my wife. Is nothing that was done in decision making or anything that her mother, and then when my mother came, the same thing. They weren't a part of the equation. They always were a part. When we calculated, put the equation together, they were always a part of it, and that's just how it was. Yeah, I mean, it was effortless. It was nothing. And so it was good to see it. It reminds me, I happened to come across a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and I'll paraphrase it because I don't know it verbatim, but it talked about someone who was leaving their parents to go because he wanted to help the Prophet. He wanted to follow the Prophet and help the Prophet. And when he reached the Prophet, he was explaining to the Prophet, I came because I wanted to be with you and help. And when I was leaving, my mother, my parents, they were crying. They didn't want me to. They were crying and crying, but I was gonna go anyway. And because he was like, I want to be able to reach paradise. And the prophet told him, he said, and I'm paraphrasing this. He was like, you had your parents crying. You can't reach paradise if your mother, if you are the reason for your parents crying. Whereas your mother or your parents are crying, you make them laugh. Wherever they're sad, you do the opposite of, you make it easy for your parents as they have made it easy for you. That is the quickest way to enter Jannah or paradise. And when I read that, I thought about my wife.
You never shared this with me.
I thought about even my brother-in-law, because I was able to see that. Literally. Moms was mad.
Now you're gonna make me cry.
She wasn't going for it. She was doing something goofy or silly to make her happy or whatever, so forth and so on. That is the way, according to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, the quickest way to get into paradise. So, job well done. Job well done. So, we're grateful. We're thankful with the memorial service, the community, they came, the expat community, those that came, we were grateful. We're so grateful, happy that you all shared in this moment with us in the celebration. All of the condolences, all of the contribute, whatever it was, even if it was just a thought, man, we're grateful. We thank you. We thank you so very much.
And prior to it, we were going through a lot here.
We were.
We've gone through, and I don't think we'll ever really talk about it, but it was a lot of disappointment and hurt that was going on. And it felt, and then this is just, I don't know what faith we all are, but for me, it was a spiritual change, because it was like I took that pain and that situation and made me focus on my mom 100% for those 2 weeks, and then took her at the time where we needed to heal. And when the community came like that, and the people that came, it took a lot of the pain and a lot of the hurt away. So, of course, a lot of you know that we're probably going to be leaving Rhonda soon. But for me, it just turned my whole experience ugly before this happened. I was done. And y'all seen it. Y'all sending me emails saying you could see it on my face. Your wife is tired. She ready to go. She don't want to be there no more. Y'all seen all of that. And unfortunately, my face can never lie. I've been trying to teach it. But it don't work. It was irking me. Why y'all keep putting that in there? I'm like, But yeah, I was done. And leaving here, I don't want to leave it here thinking that I hate Rhonda, because I love it so much. And then when those people came, it just reminded me what I, and it kind of healed me. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to be around nobody. I didn't even want to go to a store. My chest will start hurting. I feel like I'm getting anxiety or panic attacks. I was so hurt. And this whole situation just kind of like eased all of that for me. So my memories, or my last memories of Rhonda when we do leave, they're beautiful ones. They're joyful ones. They're ones where I felt that we kind of belonged. We kind of fit in to the culture and the community here. Where we felt like we didn't, they made sure at that moment that we realized and we knew that we were part of the family. And so that was such a healing, and my mom had something to do with that. That was a healing time for us. And I love Rhonda, and I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm grateful for the people, all the stuff we've done. Oh my God, the Ikawa team. I love them so much. I can't even talk about all of that, but I'm just grateful right now for this moment. And so we wanted to share that with you guys here.
Because you family out there.
Yeah, new family. And then a lot of
Good
people
fam-
were seeing the frustration.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, I'm not coming there now. I don't want to paint that for you either.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
You
want
don't
we don't
wanna
want that to be the outcome. Rhonda is an amazing place. You just have to know what your needs are. You know, it's not going to fit everybody's needs where it is right now. Rhonda's growing.
Mhm.
Hey, we got on scooters yesterday for the first time in Rhonda. You know, those little electric
Change
ones.
the frequency.
Because that was something when I came, I was like, I don't got no scooters out here. There's nothing to do at the park.
We went on a date.
Yeah, we did a day. It's after the memorial, so we needed man, that was beautiful. They got the little electric scooters now, 2 years later. So things are changing and progressing. Rhonda might be everything that we need in 5 to 10 years, but it might be exactly what you need right now. So please don't go off of our experience and figure out where you want to go. Send us an email, let's talk about it, but our experience is our experience. It's not necessarily yours. It's definitely not the 280 other Americans that live here, because they love it. They're still here and this is working for them. So please don't go off of our experience. So any questions? Anybody have any questions while we're here?
So let me see. We got and I was seeing, you know, and I hate to see the comments and we don't acknowledge them.
You can't acknowledge all those.
I can't, but I'm gonna try. So I know my man Maj, he gonna listen. I'm gonna tell you about
Maj was here at the memorial.
Maj has been a friend, a supporter of the Muhammad's, Ikawa Cafe. From the day he stepped off of the plane, he was at Ikawa Cafe faithfully. And I'm gonna tell you something.
Twice a week. You know what he gets? He gets an omelet. See, you thought I didn't know, Maj. Some toast.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something about my brother Maj. And I know he don't like to be put, you know. But anyway, I appreciate him so much because when something was not on point at Ikawa Cafe, guess what? I'm getting a text. But he did it in a way
As a brother.
And it was loving. You know, it was even some humor
like
to
an
it.
uncle or a dad, like son. That's
He was like,
not
look,
right.
I'm gonna show you. I'm just showing you right here. I'm gonna take this picture. I'm gonna show you what's going down. Y'all ain't here. I'm gonna show you. And I said, okay, I'm on it. We corrected. We corrected it. He was like, all right, you on it. So we appreciate you, brother, for so much, man. We really, really do.
But think about it though, because you know how we do, especially Americans. If we go to an all-black establishment and it wasn't good or something wasn't right one time, oh, we're done.
No, he didn't throw us away.
He never threw us away. He was like, I'm gonna keep working with them because they got good omelets. He was a true brother.
And people he knew that came to visit, he made sure they came to Ikawa Cafe.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, man, we love you, brother. We appreciate you. Man.
And a beautiful, gentle spirit. Always happy. When you see him, he gives you the best smile and the best greetings.
Yes.
He's like just a breath of fresh air every time you meet him.
Indeed.
And he was here for the memorial, and
he
I was
clean too.
He was clean. Oh man, I love these people. I love them. They mean something to me for real. Like they just gave me hope. I know they say that's what we do. I don't understand that too much, but they gave us hope because they quiet supporters. And he's done a lot more. We're just not going to put all his business out, but that quiet supporter, like, yo, I'm here. I'm always here.
Always. So we got our sister outside of Africa. Thank you for giving us such an honor of being your favorite residential couple. We appreciate that very much. And our brother Malachi, wa alaikum salam, please give also that extended greeting to your beautiful family.
Brother Malachi and his wife always send us donations. Always make sure he lets us know he's here. Whether he watched it or not, he comes on just to get that support. So we definitely thank you.
So we got the Moss Farm from Austell.
My favorite county.
Thank you so much. Encouraging the saints. We appreciate the encouragement. And thank you for the condolences, the connection, Afro America to Africa. Thank you so very much. And also for Feli Thoy. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I apologize if I did, but thank you for the heart.
We can't read
I
all
know,
that.
I know, I know. I'm just trying to. Cause some of them
Jam
repeated.
Jam, he always has some nice
Yeah,
comments.
Jam Man. Thank you so much.
Sicily Sojourn.
Thank you for your
Always.
condolences. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you made it live as well. We very seldom do it. We're gonna get better.
But we have some questions here.
We
at the
do.
bottom,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, let me read it here. It says, condolences. I care for my 84-year-old mom.
Molly, thank you for your condolences. Brother Matthew, thank you, brother. Noella, thank you so very much.
Oh, that's him. The run.
Where we at?
Baruti Katimbo. Could you explain briefly why you want to leave Rwanda and the general disappointments which have led to your decision to leave? Also, where are you going?
Well, it would be hard to do it in brief. However, if you have not, maybe you can go back a few videos that we had done. We shared some things, but those are not really the reasons why we are leaving. But those are just some things that we experienced, and we were sharing for those who are coming, that they can have hopefully a more well-rounded. But our leaving is not. I'll say this, and I think I'm saying this, my wife can attest to this as well. It really has nothing to do with Rwanda as far as anything,
Not disappointments.
Or anything like that. But what we need personally as a family, our aspirations, and think just those things there, that at the moment, as my wife was saying, at the moment, Rhonda is not able to fulfill that for us. In our coming, perfect. It was perfect. But we wouldn't have known all of the other things that we would necessarily need had we not come here. So being here and experiencing.
Sorry about the noise. I don't know. It's Sunday. Go home.
Experience life here. We've come to realize, okay, all right, this is what we're needing. This is what's gonna. So we visited some other countries, and so we don't know if or when we do get there, how long our stay is going to be there, because we're growing,
We want to be more of a residential tourist.
Right. We want to be able to, hopefully we can do a lot more countries, but as far as living is concerned. So,
like you guys know, Ikala Cafe is closed. Mm-hmm. So that was our main grounding point for staying here in Rwanda. It's a beautiful place, but most of the time it's cold. And, that we had the two mamas, including myself, with some couple health challenges, just made it unbearable for our health-wise. The two mamas had arthritis, and I got some other issues. So the cold with the rain and the wetness, it's very challenging here. The food is very challenging for me. The children, we have children here, and things for them to do is very limited, just to be honest. And Rwanda it's not as expensive as the U.S., but it is pretty expensive. To keep the same quality of life that you're used to or accustomed to, it's very hard to finance it when you have a failing business.
Just keeping it real.
Just to keep it real. So it's not Rwanda in itself. It's just, it really, I feel like we outgrew our situation here. And we really, really, really is looking forward to our next journey. I think he's saying he doesn't want to say what it is, so we'll just surprise you.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, we're staying on the continent.
Oh, we here.
Yeah, we're going to our next spot. The family is extremely excited. Probably not more than me. But we're still going to be connected to Rwanda.
Always.
Yeah.
Man, it's nothing. Listen, we Rwandan. I'm just saying.
I'm a Rondakin.
Rondakin. Rhonda is always and forever will be in us, a part of us. I mean, it's our first, experience living on the continent, and I would say it's the best introduction. We love so many things about the country, that supersede, anything of an experience that may not have been the best. So, I don't know if you can see my face. My wife's hair and head is in my way. But it's okay. At any rate, I think that's about.
Yeah,
Well,
there was no more questions. So
well, thank all of the comments. I was trying to, but we'll, how we do. We'll go back and
yeah,
we'll
we'll read
acknowledge
every single
everyone,
comment.
and we'll respond accordingly. We're grateful that you took time to listen to us on this live. And
We've been in Rhonda over 2 years.
2
Someone
years.
asked that.
yeah. So we've been here. We met someone the other day. Have been here 6 years. We met people who've been here for like a long time. So we really.
Okay, someone came to the restaurant. They like to see you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So thank you guys for coming on the live.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
I remember we do a live and we have like 8 people on it. We be so proud. Like, yes, we had 8 people. So thank you guys for growing with us this last 2 years or 2.5 years. Most of y'all been riding with us ever since. So we definitely thank you guys. We're so grateful for all your emails, all your texts, all your donations, your cash apps, it's mind blowing that you guys really find us interesting. Like, they like us. I don't know.
We're humble, really humble, really humble, man.
So, I don't know if we'll come back on live before we get to our next spot, but
See,
we'll see.
we'll see.
Yes.
But thank you so much, family. Man, it's kind of like hard to sign off. I don't know why. It's kind of hard.
It was hard to get him to sign on. He's like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. He's in mourning. I'm like, listen, we need to talk about this experience, why it's still fresh and it's still amazing. So that's where we are at today. Well, maybe we'll do another one or just put up a video before we make our exit so that you guys can see where we are. But please don't leave us. We're just in transition right now.
We expanding. We ain't.
Yeah.
Just expanding. That's all. And by Allah's grace and mercy, we'll be able to do just that. And yeah. So as you can see, the sun is setting.
It's messing up my glow.
No, your glow is fine.
Oh.
Your glow is always fine.
Thank you.
All right, family. Well, thank you so very much for lending us your time on this beautiful Sunday. I know it's for many it's early in the morning, right?
Yeah, y'all up.
So thank you for rising up and catching us, and for those who are in this particular time zone, thank you for taking a moment and spending this little bit of time with us. We appreciate it. All right, till next time, God willing.
Maricopa.
So she's trying to say a Kenya Rondon, right? So she gotta check.
Au revoir. I'll stick with my French.
So she's trying to say thank you in.
No, I'm trying to say bye.
Oh.
Walamuche?
No, Mohabejo. No, man, you got me messed up. Just goodbye.
Horrible. 2 years. Peace.